Good morning, you guys. Welcome to Vlogmas day 13. Today is Friday the 13th. I hope you're all doing well, and I also wanted to know if any of you guys actually are superstitious and if you believe in Friday the 13th, because a lot of people do and I don't really. To me it doesn't really make a difference, but like in aviation I feel like we're pretty superstitious. Like we don't have a row 13 on our planes. At my old company I remember we had one plane that had a row 13, and passengers would actually get freaked out when they got on. They were like, no, there's a row 13. It was so funny. But anyway, today I just want to run you through a day in my life, like a typical day for me at work and stuff. Like, okay, right now it is 6 o'clock in the morning. I woke up at 5:30, had a shower. I just need to put my uniform shirt on, and I need to put my hair on, I need to put my face on, so there's still a bit for me to do before I can leave the house. But typically I'll wake up and start getting ready an hour before I have to leave the house. So my sign on for this morning is 7:40 a.m. and I've been awake since 5:30, so I'm just trying to play it safe. I want to leave the house at 6:30. Yeah, I want to leave the house at 6:30 so that I make it to work way before 7:40. I'm trying to be early today because it is a Friday morning and chances of traffic slowing me down are very, very high. It's usually just a 20-minute drive to work for me, but today there is probably going to be traffic because this is the peak traffic time. So I'm going to do that now. I made lunch yesterday. Typically that's what I'll do. I'll make lunch the day before, and so that when the morning comes I can just grab my stuff and go and head out the door. Okay, today I want to start with the advent calendar before I go to work because I think I'm going to be a bit busy. Yeah, let's just go straight for it. Day 13. This one says, in 2017 Jane Austen replaced Charles Darwin on the British £10 note. More than 200 years since her death, the writer's work is still universally loved. Wow, that's really cool. What is in day 13? It's another bath bomb. It's a green tea bath bomb. Pretty cool. I enjoyed the mango one, so hopefully I like this one. It smells good already. Okay guys, so it is 20 minutes past 6 right now, and my face is on, my hair is on. I'm somewhat ready for work. I just need to go change out of this and put my uniform shirt on, and my lunch is in my bag, and I just literally just need to head out the door now. So I'll catch up with you guys when I am back from work so I can tell you all about it. You guys, I have been trying, this is my third attempt at filming for you today, and it's getting ridiculous. Okay guys, so I just want to give you guys little snippets of my day, but like give you a rundown of exactly what I do basically when I go to work, and you know, that fun stuff of being a flight attendant. So basically I got to work about 20 minutes before sign-on time, got to the office, and when you get to the office there's computers there where you put in like your employee number and everything, and it signs you on, and then it gives you this like little breakdown. This little piece of paper prints out that tells you like your flight number, you know, what airplane you're going to be on and where you're going and stuff like that. And then I got that, sat down, waited for everybody else to arrive. And then when everyone was there, the captain came and briefed us, and he was telling us about like the actual flight times that our flights are going to be, and the expected passengers, the number of passengers we're expected to have. Our first flight was pretty full. Yeah, it was full. And then our second flight back was like 120 passengers, which wasn't too bad. After he briefed us, the senior briefed the cabin crew, and she told us our working positions. I was one right, so I was sitting up front with her, and she was reminding us of just like our cabin duties and all this and that, like, you know, always stay visible in the aisle, and you know, your boarding positions, and at a certain point there's like certain points in time when you have to brief over wings and all this and that. So she was giving us that briefing, and then during that briefing she also asked us questions. Can't remember for the life of me what she asked us today, but it's stuff like, what are your pre-flight checks on a particular piece of equipment? Or how would you treat a passenger who is hyperventilating or bleeding or something, you know, stuff like that. So she asks each of us a question, and then we go through our 30-second silent review. which I don't think I've ever gone over with you guys, but basically a 30-second silent review is what the flight attendants do for every takeoff and every landing. Sorry, my neighbor just got home and like I was being extremely loud. But anyway, so if you've ever sat in front of a flight attendant and seen them during the takeoff and the landing, you'll notice how they get very quiet, even if they're sitting right next to each other, especially in the front. We're sitting right next to each other and we're usually having a nice fat conversation. And then at some point, usually it's when the captain is telling us like, okay, prepare for takeoff, or you just hear the engine start or whatever. Then you see both flight attendants go quiet, they turn their torches on and they look down or look up or wherever they want to look. And that's us going over our 30-second silent review, which is basically us going over our duties in the event of an emergency. What will I do in the event of an emergency? So yeah, we went over that, and then when we were all done, we got up and we actually waited for the plane to land first because it was coming in from, I think, Cape Town. So we waited for the plane to land, and then we went downstairs, and of course all the passengers were already standing at the gate and waiting to like board, even though we weren't on the plane yet when we were going through there. And we still waited for some passengers to get off of the plane first, and then we waited for the cleaners to get off, and then we got on, did our pre-flight checks, which is my pre-flight checks. I'll tell you my pre-flight checks because I was one right. I was in the forward right door, so I checked the toilet, the smoke detector in the toilet, I checked the equipment under our jump seat, I checked that my door opened properly and closed properly, I checked that my bins were empty, I checked that I had my demo equipment, I checked how many belly loop seatbelts we had, and then I just checked to make sure there weren't any foreign objects in the overhead bins, and I'm sure there was something else I checked, I just can't remember what. And then when all of our pre-flight checks were done, our senior called for boarding, and while she was boarding the passengers, I was checking the catering. Like in the first 5 minutes of boarding, I was checking the catering, I was checking that we had enough ice, that our card machine worked, that we had enough stock of everything, you know, that kind of stuff. Gave the pilot some water. And then after that, I helped her with boarding, which was a complete mess today. By the way, I don't know what happened, but there was double bookings. People were all booked on the same seats. I had like 7 babies in my zone, and I had to brief every single one of them, plus my wheelchair passenger. It was just a hot mess. And there was like a lady that was in row 1, and her daughter, who was like 11, was in row 30. I don't know why they were split up, but they were. It's one of those things. And the problem with boarding, and if you want to sit next to each other but you've been split up, or you want to move seats or whatever, is that especially on a full flight, we have to wait for everyone to be on board and everyone to be in their seat first before we can start moving people around. Especially because when it's full, you have to ask a person if they're willing to move and swap with you. You can't just take up their seat and then just be like, okay, thanks, bye, you know. So yeah. The flight itself was pretty good. It was like an hour and a half down there. We landed, the passengers got off. It was actually a relatively good flight. We did the service really nicely. There was quite a few hungry people, but not too much, eh? It was a relatively good day in terms of like the service and all that stuff. We landed, the passengers got off, the cleaners got on, they cleaned. So before cleaners get on, what we also do is we quickly run through the cabin to make sure that no passengers have left anything. So once all the passengers have gone off, usually like the last flight attendant, because usually the cleaners will get on in the back of the plane. So one of the flight attendants in the back and one of the flight attendants in the front will go through the cabin just to make sure that no passengers left anything, because that's the time if like you see that like a phone is still on a seat or someone's wallet is still on the seat or something, you can quickly grab it, give it to the ground staff member, and they give it to the passenger, or they take it to lost and found or something like that. So then the cleaners got on, they cleaned everything. I mean, PE was so windy. Like I have to open one right door in order to like open the bin for the cleaner to take out the bin and stuff, but PE was so windy, you guys. Oh my gosh, one right door was already like the heaviest door on that plane, and then add some wind to it. It was just ridiculous. Anyway, then when we were ready, we boarded for the second flight. All the passengers got on. I had 2 wheelchair passengers, and these guys were PAU passengers, which means they have absolutely no mobility, so they can't even like walk up the stairs by themselves or anything like that. They have to be brought on board on a slipper chair, lifted out of the slipper chair and onto their actual aircraft seat. They wanted to sit on these little cushions these little seat cushions that they have that are their personal seat cushions, but we don't allow that on our planes because it is a safety hazard. You can submarine, you can slip, it can just cause much more damage to you during an emergency. So they understood that. We had to explain to them, like, listen, for safety precautions and this and that, and we're just doing our job, all that fun stuff. After which they were happy to oblige. And then we also had 4 MAS, meet and assist passengers, which is just usually people who have never flown before, or it's their first time flying by themselves, or they're a little bit young to fly by themselves or something. So somebody from ground staff will bring them to the airplane, and then from there we'll take over, we seat them, we brief them, all that stuff. We tell them to make sure that they stay seated, so even when the other passengers get off, they have to stay in their seats. And then we come and get them off and hand them over to another gate agent who will actually take them through the airport and take them to whoever's meeting them or whatever. So we had 4 of those on our flight today, and the 2 wheelchair passengers. The flight itself coming back was much faster. It was not even that busy because this one had fewer passengers on it. And then we landed, the passengers got off, the meet and assists and the wheelchair passengers had to stay behind until their assistants arrived to take them off, which they did. By the time they got off, the other crew that was taking over from us was waiting at the aircraft door. So then I took my bag, got off that plane, made sure I had my torch on me because I have forgotten my torch on that plane so many times, you guys. It's ridiculous. But anyway, then after that, we go back to the office as a crew. We all sign off. We all sign the flight report. If there's anything that we need to add to flight reports, then that's the time you bring it up and, the senior will write it down. But today we didn't have any issues. It was a good flying day. The crew was really good teamwork. Yeah, and then everyone left, basically. Then that's it. We all just like dissipate. It's just like, okay, I gotta go, bye. And then I came home and then I picked up my camera and I'm talking to you guys now. So that was my Friday the 13th. The boarding, honestly, I feel like was a little bit of an unlucky thing. And it's funny, I was just saying to you guys this morning that I don't believe in Friday the 13th and I'm not superstitious and all this and that. But honestly, this morning it was bad. That boarding was just so unlucky. It took us so long to board that plane. And it was just such a hot mess. Like, there was just such confusion. Friday the 13th, things had to go wrong. Like, something had to go wrong. And I was like, honestly, if seating was the only thing that went wrong, then I'm very grateful that that's the only thing that went wrong today. I am very grateful that we all walked off of that plane today. So, yeah, that's it. That's my recap of my Friday the 13th flight. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know this is a little different, but I really have nothing to vlog today. I am about to go and take off my face, get into some sweatpants and stuff my face. I don't know if these kind of videos interest you guys and you actually want to know, like, because I think I do take you guys on a day-to-day of my life, but not necessarily day-to-day, like the ins and outs, details and stuff. So please let me know if you enjoyed this type of video. I'd really appreciate to know it so that I don't waste my time doing more of these videos if you guys did not enjoy them. Tomorrow I'm on home standby, so I'll see you guys then. Otherwise, happy Vlogmas Day 13. See you guys all tomorrow. Bye bye.